Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. We are going to discuss subject Software Process and Project Management Unit 3 Workflow and Checkpoints of Process Planning. These are the topics that we are going to discuss today. So let's understand first workflow. What is workflow? A workflow is step-by-step flow of work in a project. It shows how work starts, how it moves from one activity to next, and how it finishes. So workflow means just a step-by-step process or step-by-step flow. Software process workflow means it is same as workflow, but this happens in a software. Next, phases of workflow. We have 4 phases in workflow: inception, elaboration, construction, transition. First one is inception phase. What happens in inception phase? It is very beginning of project where main idea of software is understood and basic direction of project is decided. So what happens in this phase is whatever project we are going to do, we will understand the idea of that project. In simple terms, what customer wants, why project is needed, and what problem software will solve. We will be seeing all this in the first phase, that is called inception phase. Next is elaboration phase. What happens in elaboration phase? It focuses on planning, designing system in more depth. Technical decisions are taken in this phase. So what happens in this phase? We have to plan whatever project we are going to do and also design it. Like we also have to understand what are the frameworks that we will be needing, databases, modules, and a system structure. It ensures that project has solid architectural foundation and that all team members have a clear technical understanding before coding begins. So before the beginning of the coding, we have to plan everything. Next is construction phase. What happens in construction phase is we will develop the product actually here. System is built through coding, integration, and continuous testing. What we do here is we build that product and also we start testing it. First we develop it and then test it. Next, focus here is on productivity, quality, and completing required functionality. Next phase is transition phase. What happens in transition phase? It involves delivering the finished software to users and making it really ready for actual use. The goal here is to ensure that customer can successfully use the system in real world. So here we, till the construction phase, we completed the coding part, right? What we do here is we will give it to the customer so that they can use it properly, and if there are any errors, we can correct that. It marks the shift from development team to end users. Next, workflow categories. We have 7 workflow categories, that is management, environment, requirement, analysis and design, implementation, testing, deployment. We'll see all this one by one, but before that let us understand artifacts. Artifacts is nothing but the outcome or documents produced during a software project. So after completing the software project, we get a document, right? That is nothing but the artifact. Management workflow. It deals with planning, monitoring, and controlling the entire software project. It ensures that project moves smoothly, resources are used properly, schedules are followed, and risks are handled on time. It keeps whole team organized and ensures that the work stays aligned with customers' expectations and deadlines. What happens here in this management workflow is we will manage everything from planning, monitoring, and controlling. We'll check out everything, and also we'll be checking the resources, whatever that are used or not. We'll check the schedules, we'll check if there are any risk, everything. And what will be the artifact? That means outcome of this stage is software development plan. What we'll be doing here is planning and vision, and also work breakdown structure. We will learn about work breakdown structure in further topic. Next, environment workflow focuses on preparing tools, processes, and development environment requirement for smooth project execution. Before team starts heavy development, they need proper tools, hardware, software guidelines, coding standards, and version control system. It ensures that all these are set up and maintained throughout project. It helps create a stable and productive environment for developers, testers, and designs. So what happens in this phase is the environment of the project is developed. So before we start anything, what we do is we have to create the environment. We need to have all the things that are required, like all the hardwares, all the softwares, all the guidelines, everything. And what will be the outcome of this? Artifacts is nothing but outcome. The artifacts will be your environment and software change order database. Next is requirement workflow. Is about understanding what customer wants, capture user needs, expected features, system behavior and constraints in a clear and required way. What happens here is whatever the customer wants, we will check all those things and understand all those things. Ensure that team builds right product. So by talking to the customer, we'll get to know what actually customer wants and we will build that properly. And what will be the artifacts here is requirement set, release specification and a vision. Next is design workflow. Focuses on converting requirements into technical structure that can be built. It decides how entire system will be organized, architecture, modules, classes, interfaces and interactions. Ensures system is efficient, flexible and easy to build, test and maintain. So till now whatever we did, gathering the requirements and setting the environment, what we will do here is we will convert those requirements into technical structure. We will design everything what we have to do further. So what will be the artifact here is design set, architecture, description. Next is implementation workflow. So till here we designed it, right? Now we have to implement it. Is nothing but writing the actual code and building the system. The design modules are converted into working programs using programming languages. Using the programming languages and the frameworks, we will write the actual code here. Each module is coded, integrated and prepared for testing. So we will write single modules and then integrate it and also test it and prepare for testing. So what will be the artifact here is implementation set and deployment set. Next is assessment workflow. Checks whether developed software works correctly, performs unit testing, integration testing, system testing, acceptance testing. Goal is to find defects, quality can be enhanced, testing reduces rework. So what happens here is we are testing. We are doing nothing but testing everything, and there will be different kinds of testing: unit testing, integration, system and acceptance testing. What we'll get after this stage is release specification and user manual. Next, deployment workflow. It ensures that final software reaches users smoothly, includes packaging system installation, user training and providing support. Any final adjustments, bug fixes and performance improvements are done here. So what happens here, whatever the project we are doing, that is completed, right? We'll check that it is working properly or not, and if there are any errors or any bugs, we will fix all those here and we will make it ready for user to use it. What will be the artifact here is users can successfully run and use system in real environment. Okay, this topic is completed. Next, iteration workflows. It is repeated cycle of activities that happens during software development. In each iteration, the team does a mini version of full development process. They understand small requirement, design it, code it, test it and produce working piece of software. Every iteration gives improved version of product. So what is meant by iteration in simple terms means repetition, repeating the same thing again and again. So what we do in a project here is we will do all the steps from start to the end and make a mini version of the full project. We will not build the full project at once. What we will do is make the mini version, like the smallest of smallest version which is working, and then what we will do, we will repeat all the steps again and improve it. If there are any mistakes, any errors that are done, we will rectify it and also we will improve it step by step. And here is the diagram for this: allocated usage structures, previous iteration results, management, environment, requirements, design, implementation, assessment, deployment, next iteration results. So these three comes under inception and elaboration, and these three comes under construction phase. Assessment and deployment comes under transition. Next topic is checkpoints of process. It is also referred as milestones. Checkpoints are nothing but a project. We have to check that project is progressing or not. There are three types: major milestone, minor milestone, periodic status assessments. Major milestones or checkpoints. It is also called as wide events. It aims at long-term plans of entire software project globally, carried out at the end of each phase. So what we will do here is we will put a checkpoint or a milestone at the end of the project. Not exactly at the end of the project, but at the end of a phase. So it is divided into 4 categories. First, life cycle objectives, life cycle architecture, initial operational capability, product release. We'll see everything one by one. First is life cycle objectives, milestone, end of inception. When it will happen is at the end of inception, appears at the end of inception phase. Main objective here is to get approval from stakeholders to move to elaboration phase. Critical issues related to requirements, vision or operational concept are resolved here. So what happens here is we have to get approval from the stakeholders so that we can move this project to the next phase. What we will do here is whatever the requirements that we want, we gather here. Whatever the vision that we have, we get here. Next is life cycle architecture milestone, end of elaboration. This happens at the end of elaboration phase. What is the main objective here is to demonstrate all architecture that is carried out by stakeholders. If this milestone is achieved, then allowance for construction phase is achieved from all stakeholders. So if this milestone is achieved, what will happen? We'll get the allowance for the construction phase. Next is initial operation capability milestone. It appears at the end of construction phase. What is the main objective here is to assessment of immediate use of software in order to move the customer or user sites. Means when the project is ready, right, what we do is we test it immediately so that it can be sent to the user, the customer site, so that they can use it. Software is stable or not, so that the user can check whether the software is stable or not, features are sufficient or not, and all those things. Next, product release milestone. What happens here? It happens at the end of transition phase. Main objective is to verify the product is complete or not. Here all acceptance, everything is accepted, and then this phase comes. All the defects are also addressed here. Is the diagram: inception, elaboration, construction, transition, all the 4 phases, and this it happens at the end of life cycle objective milestone, happens at the end of inception. Life cycle architecture milestone appears at the end of elaboration. Initial operational capability milestone appears at the end of construction, and product release milestone appears at the end of transition. Next is minor milestone. It is also called as inch pebbles. So in the time period of 1 to 6 months, we have 2 minor milestones. First is iteration readiness review, iteration assessment review. What happens in iteration readiness review? It is conducted at the start of each iteration, and it will give the detail about the plan, and also it will review the evaluation criteria. What happens at the iteration assessment review is it will be conducted at the last of the iteration, at the end of the iteration, and it will check whether the goals are accomplished or not. It will also review the test results and also check if there is any rework required or not. Next is periodic status assessments. What happens here is the interacting activities of a software development requires continuous attention in order to manage risk and assess the project status. So in simple terms, I'll explain what happens here. Routine health checks of project is done here, like staffing, resource usage, what are the resources that we have used, how much resource is left, all those are checked here. Cost and revenue review, how much cost we have used, how much revenue we got, everything is reviewed here. Next, technical progress metrics, how much progress we have done, all those things. Risk, status, action items. It's all about periodic status assessments. Next comes process planning. In this we have work breakdown structure, defined as breaking down of higher level tasks into a set of lower level tasks. So what we do when we have big work to be done, we break it into small parts and do it. Nothing but higher level, breaking down of higher level into smaller levels, lower levels. So we have 2 types here: conventional or traditional work breakdown structure. There is nothing much in conventional, but the problem we have in conventional is it is too much structured, and there will be little either very less detail or too more. There will be either very less detail or more details, and it is also hard to compare. So then we have evolutionary or modern work breakdown structure. What happens here is it removes the flaws that we had in conventional work breakdown structure. Here we have three levels: level 1, level 2, level 3. In level 1, it can be also defined as workflows. We have management, requirement, design, implementation, assessment, and deployment. Next is level 2. It can be also defined as phases level, and it has inception, elaboration, construction, transition. Next comes level 3. So in these two levels, everything, all the work is done, right? In level 3, we will get the artifacts. Topic is planning fidelity. Here we have work breakdown, structure, elements, and the phases, right? Inception, elaboration, construction, transition. So in management, the inception is high, elaboration is high, construction is high, and transition is high. So everything is high here. Next, environment, inception is moderate, elaboration is high, construction is high, transition is high. So once check out this. Next topic is planning guidelines. Planning guidelines are basic rules that help create plans that are realistic, risk aware, measurable, and adaptable throughout the software project. So what happens here is we will plan everything from the project to the risk aware and everything. So here we have two guidelines, right? First one is first guideline, default allocation of budget. What we do in the first guideline is the budget is allocated, available for every work breakdown, structure, elements, first level. So here we have work breakdown, structure, elements, and also the budget. For management, we'll be having 10%, environment and requirements also 10%. For design, we'll be having 15% of budget. In implementation and assessment, we'll be having 25% each, and in deployment, we'll be having 5% of budget, and the total is 100%. Next, we have second guideline. It deals with allocation of effort and schedule across life cycle phases. Life cycle phases, nothing but these phases: inception, elaboration, construction, transition. So here we'll be having efforts and schedule. In inception, we'll be having 5% effort and 10% schedule. Elaboration, 20% effort and 30% schedule. In construction, we'll be having 65% effort and 50% schedule. In transition, we'll be having 10% effort and 10% schedule. Okay, next is cost and schedule estimating process. In this topic, we have project planning. Includes objective of project, actions to achieve goals. So basically, project planning means planning of project entirely from start to end. So here we'll be having planning of project's budget actually. Okay, two perspectives we have. Two perspectives, or you can say two approaches: top-down approach and bottom-up approach. In top-down approach, requirements and constraints understanding, micro-level budget and schedule, micro-level budget and intermediate milestones. So what happens here is we'll go from higher level to the lower level. First, we will get to know the budget of the whole project, and then we will divide the budget to the small parts. What happens in bottom-up approach? Analyze micro-level budgets and schedules, macro level budget and intermediate milestones. What happens here is we will analyze the budget of the small modules, and then we'll combine it, and we'll get the budget of whole project. It goes from lower level to higher level. Next is iteration planning process. We have 4 iterations: inception iteration, elaboration iteration, construction iteration, transition iteration. Next is pragmatic planning. Pragmatic planning is nothing but practical planning or realistic planning. Realistic based on real world conditions. What are the characteristics we have? Be realistic, using actual data, not the fake data, adjusting to the plans where needed, focusing on the priorities, consider team strength and limitations. And last, I found this 2 stages: engineering stage and production stage. In engineering stage, we will be having inception, elaboration. Here we'll get the flexibility, here we'll get the architecture. And in production stage, we have construction and transition. Here we'll get the beta release, and here we'll get the product release. And this is all about the unit 3, and if you understand it, please like it. And thank you so much for watching. Bye bye, see you in the next video.